3rd and 3. Fields, open field, and a touchdown. Well, after no signs of life the first 3 series, the Steelers this time go 70 yards for the touchdown. And last year, everybody was talking about how they were going to probably end up with the first pick and jettison Justin, which they did for a 6th-round draft pick, by the way. And now he's undefeated as the signal caller for the Steelers.
Yes, he is. The Steelers at 3-0 have a 2-game lead over their contemporaries in the AFC North. And I do think this was their most impressive victory to date. The Fan Morning Show is brought to you by Guardian Protection, your hometown home and business security company. We want to hear from you all morning long. You can give us a ring, 412-928-9370 on the Fan Hotline. Presented by Sullivan Super Service, Pittsburgh trusted plumbing and HVAC provider for over 50 years. Simple question, Dorin. Is this a good football team? I'm starting to buy in.
I think that might be too. And it's not because of, really their direct play. It is, obviously, but I think it's because I've watched so many other games around the NFL that I'm like, in comparison of the Steelers, I'm like, all right, let's match up. Let's measure up the Steelers with this team. Let's do them with this team. Like, at this point, I'm like, maybe they're the most complete team. I don't know if they're a great football team, but they're definitely the most complete that I've seen. Like, from offense to defense and special teams and just the whole gamut of everything. I think that they might be the most complete football team. So, yeah, like, I'm trending in that direction. They might be pretty good.
I think they're pretty good. I do. I think that's a perfect characterization. I don't think they're a great football team. It's September. You don't have to be. They're sort of, in a way, treating this like an extension of the preseason. A lot of teams are doing that. I mean, you had Mason McCormick switching in and out with Spencer Anderson a little bit, and then you had him as the extra tight end because Michael Pruitt was out, and so you experimented with a little bit of that. They've had specific game plans for opponent. We don't see that with the Steelers. Haven't seen that the last few years. Game 1, don't throw it one time into the middle of the field. This game, 15 times into the middle of the field. We've talked about the Steelers don't want to turn it over. They want to protect the football. Well, guess what? They did turn the football over. 2 things to that. 1, they lost the turnover battle and won by double digits. They have not done that since 2018. That is impressive to me. This isn't a team that wants to do it that way. That no team wants to lose the turnover battle, but they did, and they still really could have won by 17 points. I mean, you're kneeling on the ball at the half-yard line at the end of the game. They easily could have put up 27 points in this football game. So you win by double digits despite losing the turnover battle. And we've talked about different ways to win with defense, Dorin, right? Like, you can just control the clock, and you can run the ball and win with defense. Don't keep them on the field a lot. Steelers turn it over. It's 10-10. The game hung in the balance. And the Steelers defense goes 3 and out. Right? First play, the sack that hurts Justin Herbert. 3 plays, -4 yards on the drive for the Chargers. You're allowed to bow up. You're allowed to make a play or a series of plays after your team turns it over, which is why I think they should probably loosen things up a little bit. But, yeah, I think it's a pretty good team, man. The offense ain't blowing you away, but this was their best, most complete offensive performance to date. And the defense, it's the best in the NFL. And I think they took it personally that the Chargers were ranked higher than them.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin kind of made that a talking point all week long. And then after the game, he was talking about it. And TJ Watt was talking about it. Steelers only giving up 8.7 points per game. Best in the NFL. Sidney Crosby likes that. I am looking at a complete team. Boswell misses what would have been the longest kick in Heinz Field history. So what?
Okay.
He winds up kicking another couple. Corliss Waitman good on special teams. Yeah, I do think it's a complete football team, Dorin. And I don't know that it's a top 5 team or anything like that in the NFL, but you can see maybe baby steps, maybe not baby steps, but you can see steps where the team's getting better too.
Yeah, they understand their assignment. They understand what they're doing, especially in offense. And, that's something that we haven't seen in multiple years here in Pittsburgh is, just not just running plays just to run them and not just calling defenses just to call them. There's a method to their madness, and it was nice to see finally like what it could have looked like throughout the first 2 games if those penalties weren't thrown.
Yeah.
That's what it would have looked like that. And then what would we be talking about? Like 240 yards, 242 yards, whatever that Justin Fields had around there. I mean, that's probably what he would have done in the first 2 games if there wasn't those penalties.
Good point.
So, man, there's a larger conversation that we're probably going to have at some point around this quarterback situation. But seeing the way that Justin Fields just operated yesterday, you could just tell that he is getting more comfortable. He's understanding his assignment better. He's just, he's starting to settle in. And that is very, very promising if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers, because those are the questions that you were asking. That's why you acquired Justin Fields, is because we have a lot of questions, but we're enamored. So can we fix some of the things that we're, enamored by or not enamored by that he does wrong? Can we fix those and still be enamored? And I think that they're on the way of doing that.
I agree.
And that's your future. Regardless of what the situation holds this year with Russ or whatever. But I think that Justin Fields is your future at this point.
I can't rule it out, and I'm closer to believing that than I have been at any other point. 3 consecutive games of a quarterback rating over 90. He is 11th in the league in quarterback rating, which with this defense playing like that, you've got a chance to win a ton of football games here. Yeah, he throws an interception. Okay.
It bounced up in the air like that. I don't know if I count that. He didn't throw it.
I think when you let go of that football, you think worst case scenario is that thing gets knocked down.
Yeah.
And it winds up bouncing around off 16 different guys. I'm actually watching it. Just popped up on the highlights right here. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? That's going to happen from time to time. He's going to throw a bad interception or 2 as well. He's going to have a bad game at some point. You're not going to find quarterbacks more often than not around the league. The list might be 1 or 2 guys that are going to go 17 games and not have a bad game. Mm-hmm. We've yet to see a bad game, though, from Justin Fields. 25 of 32, 245, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, had a rush touchdown, quarterback rating of 96. And the stats could have been better. He threw a BB on the money to our guy, Pat Freiermuth, down the middle of the field. And Pat will tell you 9 times out of 10, you got to come down with that football. Maybe more than that. That's a hell of a throw. I thought the throw to Calvin Austin deserves a ton of credit for doing a lot of the legwork there, but that's a really good throw where he finds the hole in zone coverage, and he waited till the appropriate moment to throw it. His accuracy, Dorin.
Yeah, it's money.
You talk about things to be enamored with. The talent's always been there.
Right.
Accuracy hasn't been his strength. The 60% completion percentage in his career, he was throwing dots out there. He's got a completion percentage of 73.3. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks going right now in the National Football League. Didn't know he had that.
Some of those low balls too, on purpose low balls. I was wow, this guy is darting.
Yeah.
He's pinpointing. The one, it was going across, I think it might have been the Freiermuth drop. It was so low.
Yeah.
But it was on purpose low because he knew that the defender was either going to get it if it was at the mid-level or too high. That was on purpose, and that was an unbelievable throw.
It was.
Unbelievable.
That was his best throw of the day, I think, despite it getting dropped by Patty Fry. And like we said, Patty, he's going to catch that ball more often than not. Calvin Austin makes plays. At least for this game, he's wide receiver 2. Scotty Miller on that key 3rd down breaks a tackle. Boy, I want to give that guy credit. 2 catches, 33 yards. The one, like I mentioned, on 3rd down. Couple games ago, last game has to come in. First game has to come in, be your emergency holder.
Yeah.
Last game has to come in as your emergency gunner. He's a useful player.
Yes.
You've been talking about Cordero Patterson. Cordero Patterson in this game, used as a wide receiver at times. At the end of the game, when you're trying to seal it, used as a running back. He comes through in the jet sweep motion, and Dorin. Who the hell wants to tackle that guy in the 4th quarter?
No.
Oh, my God.
He can still run, and he runs hard. He's 230-some pounds. Yeah, you don't want that.
Once he gets going downhill, he's a monster.
Yep.
Najee Harris, not good. Running game, not good first half. Second half, turned it around because they just kept handing the football off. We're kind of hitting on everything right now. It was a complete team win, is the point here. Steelers averaged 6.8 yards per pass, which is not this huge number, but better than where it was last year. Steelers last season were 28th in the league in scoring. Through 3 games, they're 23rd in the league in scoring. The defense better than last year. 1st in points allowed. 3rd in rush defense. 6th in pass defense. They've got a +4 turnover differential. What I'm saying here is it's okay to look at the Steelers and say they're still not scoring a ton of points. And, oh, what's this going to mean against the Chiefs or blah, blah, blah. For who they've played so far, what they've accomplished, you literally can't have won more games. Mm-hmm. And I think it's okay for right now to say, hey, all y'all out there listening, all yins out there listening, your favorite football team, might be Pitt too, your favorite football team right now is pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say that.
And they're undefeated.
Undefeated. Yeah. And you can't have done more. And I want to come back to this one more time. I wish Najee Harris would have scored on that final carry of his, because the first two games, you had the push-off. You referenced this already. You had the push-off that got called back. The Denver game, you have the hold that calls back the big throw to George Pickens running down the sideline. I would have liked to see them get one more touchdown in this game, because I feel like it would make things look the way that they should look statistically. Like, they're 23rd in the league in scoring at 17 points per game. They probably deserve to be a little bit better than that. Mm-hmm. I just think the eye test is telling us that this offense is significantly better than last year's. And if you could have gone in there and won 27-10, I think that's what should have happened. I think a lot of people would be going, okay, the Steelers offense really is making strides here.
Yes.